episode 21,
where we're going to show you how to build a 48 volt off-grid system. Right, so we're going to start off with his batteries. As you can see, we've got a Renogy 12.8 volt 300 amp hour lithium battery. Now Renogy reached out to us months ago and they wanted to sponsor the build, and we were back and forward talking about different options, and we eventually came up with a system that we can use, as well as using some Victron stuff to get a nice, comfortable off-grid system. So we've got not one, but four 12.8 volt 300 amp hour lithium batteries. We're going to wire them in series. Now, if you don't know what that means, wiring them in series increases the voltage, but keeps the 300 amp hour capacity the same. The reason we've gone for a 48 volt system is because the higher the voltage, the lower the current. So the smaller the cables need to be. And that's going to make it more efficient, less heat, less current going through the cables, and it should give us just a little bit more usable power. Let's talk you through all the brains of the system. We'll go through it in detail when we wire it in. We've got a solar controller, solar charger. That takes the feed from the solar panels, splits it off into the battery to recharge your battery via solar. DC to DC converter. We're going to run some 12 volt stuff in the truck. So what this does, it takes the 48 volt power, converts it into 12 via a fuse board, and that'll power us lighting and fans and stuff. We've got as links Class T power in. So the Class T power in houses a Class T fuse. That's going to protect us battery side of things if there were any faults. We'll blow the fuse rather than the batteries. We've got as links distributor. So these two actually connect together. So your cables coming from your batteries through that end, distributor bolts to the power in, and then the power in is basically just a bus bar, negative and positive, and that's where your feed comes from for inverters, solar controllers, and the DC to DC converter. Sterling power, battery to battery charger. So it does 12 volt and 24 volt. Our truck's 24, and it converts it to 48. So that's taking, whilst we're driving, that's taking the power from the truck batteries and sending it to the leisure batteries. So we've got this. What's this one? Smart shunt. This connects to the negative from the batteries, and it is basically a little brain that communicates with the inverter, and it tells you state of charge for your batteries, the current you're using, all the details you want to know for keeping an eye on your system. We may actually get another one of these, but we'll speak about that later on. Smart shunt. We've got this GX tank 140. So this is we're gonna wire our tank sensor into this, and this is going to be plugged into the GX inverter, and that's going to tell us as water levels. We've got big box of cable. Some of this is from Renogy, and others we've bought ourselves. Multi-strand copper cable, flexible, all different sizes for the batteries we need. We'll cover that when we're wiring, as well as some Victron VE cables and some other bits. Right, now this is the brain of the system, and I actually didn't realise how big it was. And how heavy it was, for that matter. Right. Whew. Nothing else in here. Let's get rid of that. So, this is Victron Multi Plus 2 GX. It's a 48 volt inverter. What the inverter does, takes the 48 volts, converts it into 240 volt, gives you 240 volt power inside the truck. It's a 6,500 watt, which means we'll comfortably be able to run air fryer, coffee machine, and probably washing machine, probably all at the same time, just. We're probably never going to do that. But yeah, it gives us a bit more headroom from the original 5,000 watt that we originally ordered. Cost, it was about £950. So when you compare that to a, like I said, 12 and 24 volt, well cheaper. This particular model, I can't really lift it up because it weighs a ton. Well, I can, but it's just gonna do me back in even more. But this is a GX model, right? What that means is we don't actually need a separate GX turbo that you usually see on builds. It's built into the inverter. So all our communication points go into the inverter, and then that's going to communicate with our screen, and we'll be able to see everything from solar charge to battery charge, battery to battery charge, shore power, what's coming in, what's going out basically. So I think we've covered what we've got. We've also got, we haven't covered everything we've got. We have also got solar panels. We've got 4 320 watt solar panels supplied by Renogy, so thanks very much for that again. They're going to go up on the roof. They're going to be wired in 2 series, 2 parallel. So let's get these mounted in the truck. Now before we get started, one thing I do want to say, I am not a professional installer. A lot of research, a lot of reading. My head has been absolutely mashed for the past few weeks, trying to get my head around how everything works, what fuses to use, cable size, etc, etc. So the purpose of the video is to try and give you a bit of a demo of how to do it. If anyone's got any criticism, make it helpful criticism, you know, help others, and we'll try and do it together. So let's get on with it. Right, lift them up. That goes on there. That goes on there. Connect them rubber grommets on. And then you've got washer, spring washer, washer, spring washer, nut. Right, so this is the start of the power for a system. Battery cables are coming in to the Class T power in. Coming in through the bottom. So your negative goes to here, positive goes to here, and your Class T fuse bolts to those two there. We've bolted the distributor to the power in, so those 2 bus bars are connected now. And then this will be as feed for all of our MPPT, the inverter, DC to DC charger. So we've got us mega fuses that go in here. They're different ratings for each of your components. Positive mounts here, negative underneath. Beauty. That's it, solid. Right, so we've got his plywood on, we've got his inverter on. Batteries are in temporarily. We're going to make a battery tray for those, and probably a ratchet strap. The battery tray will be screwed to the floor, and we'll probably have a ratchet strap going across all the batteries to clamp them down, and the tray will also have like a bit of an upstand on to stop them moving around. Probably put some rubber mat in there as well. So now we're figuring out where we're going to put everything else. So I think, looking at this, to make the most of the space, you can flip these upside down, which I think is going to work better for us. So if we put this somewhere in the middle of these batteries, probably like that, then we can have as positive and negative coming up here, along and round and into the top of the power in, and then all the distribution, if you can see it, I'm not in the way, all the distribution can come out. We'll have one to the inverter, we'll have one for the Orion DC to DC 12 volt converter, one to the Sterling, and one to the MPPT. Fingers. Ow. Knees. Maybe it weren't a good idea to use stainless steel screws. Smashing, smashing. We've also left a space here. Not quite sure what I need just yet. Either a fuse board, like a consumer unit, what you have in your garage and stuff. Little two-way one of those. Or we have a solar PV isolator. I'm not sure, but I'll figure it out, and then that's going to go there. PV in, into there, that's battery. Inverter into there. So yeah, let's have a little look further back. That's how she's looking.
So me and Dan, we're brainwaving ideas.
Not brainwaving, turn it off.
We're brainwaving ideas.
We're doing electrics.
And I said to Dan, we should film this because we're coming up with some pretty good ideas. And Dan's like, nobody wants to see that. I just want to see working on the truck. People want to see all aspects of the truck.
No, people working on truck.
Yeah, but the brainwaves that we're talking about.
Oh, Mina. Shut up.
We're talking about what we're thinking about doing to the truck.
I'm
And then you guys can tell us that we're absolute idiots and we don't know what. And we don't know what we're doing. And don't do that. Right, we're doing electrics then.
Turn bloody thing off.
Somebody's in a mood today. He's upset because we've just come back off holiday and he's straight back into working on the truck. He's just got a lot of catching up to do. Dan.
I said.
What have we done, Dan? What's up?
The bloody. Do you know what? Alright. Victron. Brilliant. But I'm not going to lie. Connecting stuff up is a bit fiddly. Like I've just dropped a washer and now I can't get it out. Like. Do you know what I mean? Got it. Look here. Right. Come to put us negative on here. Yeah. Put it on there. Washer. Spring washer. Nut. Now. What? There's just so much in way, you know what I mean? Like, it's no good for when you got fat fingers.
Do you want me to do it? No, seriously, do you want me to do it though? I've got quite small fingers.
Yeah, I've got it. I only want to get a length. Then we're going to have that coming out there. And I'll have it coming down. And then I'm going to have it coming up in there. Towards the negative. Oh, the negative. Ooh, oui. Can you grab those cutters, please, my darling? In fact, no, I can take it in.
Come on, then.
But I need to do other one.
I'll say that in every video.
Right, what we're going to do. Amina has just done this beautiful little heat shrinkage. So we're going to show you how we do it. You need to get your lug. This is the lug. Okay? You need to get your knife. And we don't want any copper showing. Watch me fingers. And just cut it just a bit short about there. Hold on.
Go on, darling.
No, you do it.
Go for it.
There. All the way around. Watch your fingers. You need to press that hard. What you're doing is removing this bit, look.
Yup.
The sleeve. But you don't want to cut any copper.
A few moments later.
Like bloody Stevie Wonder's done it, but what are you going to do? Put this in here, get all your strands in. Yeah, shove it right in. And we're going to pump it up.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh! Go on.
Safety, Dad. Safety.
Yeah?
You might have to do the last
No, I
one.
think that were it. Release that. Now this, Amazon, right? Don't get the yellow one from Amazon if you're in the UK. It's absolutely rubbish. This has just come 8 ton of pressure, of folding force. The yellow one, rubbish. Don't get it.
Dan
This
was getting
one.
very frustrated earlier with the
Blue
yellow one.
8 ton of force. We'll put a link in actually where we got this from. About 30 or 40 quid. Brilliant. Does up to 70mm cable. Right.
Shrink wrap.
Heat shrink. Do with some scissors, but you're going to just cut that on there. Again, with your heat shrink, get one that's got adhesive in it. Don't just get this cheap Chinese crap. And kindly demonstrated. Yeah, fantastic that. Look at that. So that's how we lug and shrink the cables. So that's going to go on there. And then slot that in there, like that. So that, and then what we'll do, we'll tidy all these up all nice and neat, like that.
How many do you need?
4.
4 mega fuses.
Yeah.
I'll do some Googling.
You're not going to get any mega fuse. battery trays in. We've got that ratchet strap down. So these batteries aren't going to go anywhere. The tray is screwed down to the floor. And then we've got a rubber mat in the bottom just to stop them sliding about anyway. And then we've also got the ratchet strap to stop them from coming up. As you can see, down here we've got some power coming in from the batteries to this smart shunt. The isolator, we're currently off with the power, we've not turned it on yet. But the power basically comes in from the isolator into the Class T. We've got a 300 amp Class T fuse in there, and we've got 70mm squared cable coming from the batteries. Links, power in, and the distributor are both connected by the bus bars. On here, in here, got a series of fuses. 40 amp for the 48 to 12 converter, 40 amp for the Sterling power. I believe it's 80 amp for the 150/60 MPPT, and then we've got a 200 amp fuse for the inverter via 70mm cable. The inverter then is earthed, that's down to the chassis. We're still going to wire in the shore power in via double pole RCBO. So we'll have a shore power socket down here, that'll be on the outside. That'll be inlet, in through the RCBO, out through the top, and then back in to the Multi Plus 2 for a shore power. And then, if you can see, now we still need to do some tidying up. These cables are going to be up there, probably in some trunking. But this here comes through our wall, across the top of the tank. Again, we need to do some cleaning and some cable management. But basically that goes down to the fuse board, 12 volt fuse board you can see down there at the bottom. So all our 12 volt lighting, 12 volt pump, we're going to have a switch on the water pump so as that when we're not in the truck or when we're moving, we can switch the water pump off just in case we have a leak. We don't want the water to be pumping out. So we'll have the 12 volt pump on a switch, 12 volt lights from the fuse board, 12 volt fans, and yeah, 12 volt toilet fan. All that'll come from the 12 volt fuse board. One thing I did forget to mention, just waiting for the consumer unit. We've got a garage consumer unit coming, and that will be from the inverter. That'll run through, probably in the same place down on the other side of this wall for our 240 volt power. We're getting there. Solar, got to wire the solar in. So we need to get up on the roof and have a look at that. And then, might be time to switch it on. We'll give it a look. How is it up there?
It's a bit wobbly.
I thought you were up in clouds. Right, whilst we're waiting for a few bits to come to finish off the electrics, we have been to HDM Solar. I'll put a little link on below. But basically, they're a big industrial wholesale solar supplier. Brilliant lads up there. They're only 20 minutes away from here as well, which is really handy. But for the solar panels, rather than using these little brackets that you see on the vans and stuff, because we haven't got any plywood in the roof, we wanted something a bit more substantial. So we've gone with these. You can see the end profile there. So basically, just to give us more surface area to get some glue on there and some screws into the GRP. So what you do is, this is going to be mounted to the roof with some adhesive, probably some Soodle FC40, and then they slide in there like that. Tighten it up, and then that clamps down. So your solar panel sits on top of this rail, on top of there. That clamps down, and as it clamps down, this bolt here in the middle spreads these two outer parts and locks it that way as well. So we're going to get them up on the roof and get our solar panels mounted. Now this is what we've got for bringing the solar cables through the roof. Scan strut. Wasn't the cheapest, as you may know, but you can see the engineering in it, and it does look pretty high quality stuff. So it's the first time I've ever used a scan strut. We have had it open, but basically got two little rubber grommets here, two 6mm cables going through, come out this tiny little hole here, down through the roof to our DC breaker for a solar inlet. Then it simply just hooks back on like that, screw it down, and then put the, oh no, I've got that wrong. First got to fix it to the roof with this little rubber gasket. Rubber gasket, fix that down, put this on, tighten it up, and that's it. Nice, sleek little cable entry, that. I like that. Well made. Right, now we've got our solar panels up, just wanted to give you guys a little diagram of how we've wired them in 2 series, 2 parallel. So these are the ones at the front. I mean, it's irrelevant really, but we've got 4 320 watt solar panels. So what we've done, we've wired 2 pairs in series. So to do that, you take the positive of one panel and the negative of the other and plug those 2 MC4 connectors together. You'll have a male and female. I think the male was plus, positive, and the female was negative. So plug those in together, both sets of panels, and now you've got 2 sets of solar panels. Now they're in a series, what we need to do is wire them in parallel. So what we did, we took the positive from one end, because if you see now we've got a positive and a negative on this set of panels and the same on here. So you take the positive from there and we'll go down the middle. You take the positive from the other one and we'll bring that down the middle. Then we'll do the same with the negative. So that can come from there. And that goes to there. And then the negative from that set goes to there. So now we've got 2 negatives, 2 positives. We then used the Y branches to make those 2 positives and those 2 negatives into one set of strings. And we've now doubled the voltage. Then what we've done from here, we've gone through the roof entry, the scan strut that we had. So the negative, we've got 1 negative coming through, and then we've got as positive as well. So they're coming in through the roof. This then goes into a DC breaker, a little DC mini circuit breaker. Now that was rated to, I think it was 1000 volts. That's rated to 1000 volts. And the one we've got actually is probably slightly overkill because it's rated to 50 amps. I'm trying to draw 50 upside down, so that's rated to 50 amps, which is a bit too much. We want one really that's rated to about 20 to 25. So we're going to swap that breaker out. So the reason we've done it in 2 series, 2 parallel, is because we've got a 48 volt system. So originally each panel was 37.8 volts. For the solar controller to wake up and start harvesting the sunlight, it's got to be above 5 volts of your battery. So if we'd had wired these solar panels just in series, we wouldn't have been above the 48 volts to allow the MPPT to wake up the solar controller. So that's why we've wired them in 2 series, 2 parallel. We're about 75.7 volts. So that's more than enough above the 48 volt battery system to wake the solar controller up. And what that also means is, even when it's a cloudy day, we should still get a nice amount of solar coming in because we're carrying high voltage. So it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to think about. Solar is done. 2 at the front there. We've left room for ventilation, log burner. We're going to have a ventilation in the shower, which is about that area, and we've left a nice big space for AC, because we may have it. We can have a sky hatch here, 450 by 700 sky hatch there, which will be nice. We can get access to the roof there if we need to, through that. Still got cables to connect up there, but she's looking pretty cool. Look, we're about to do the big switch on, and look who's come to take the glory of all my hard work.
I've done all this work actually. I've been here every day.
Big switch on. Right, you get up there. Let me flip us. So we're all wired in. Got all those fuses in. We've got his battery tray in now. Right, so what you need to do is turn that breaker there to the right.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Excited? Is there any fireworks or
Is that it?
anything happening?
Have you turned it on?
I think so. Any light switches to put on? Any light switches to...
We've got some.
Oh,
Can't even see it.
it says status invert.
So we're on.
AC disconnected.
Yeah, so
Can we like plug something in or
no,
put the washing machine on?
We haven't actually got 240 volt power yet.
I do have like a load of washing to put in.
We haven't got any power yet.
So where's the big reveal?
It's just turning the equipment on really. We still need to get 240 volt power in. Waiting for a mains cable to come so we can wire it into the fuse.
Right.
Bit of an anticlimax that, wasn't it?
Dan was telling me, oh, we need to go, you need to come down. We've got to do the whole like turn on video.
But we can show you what solar we're getting in and what power we're using if we connect it up to the Victron app. So, let me grab the tablet and we can show you that now. We've got 1,000, well it's varying, 1,040 watts coming in at 70.6 volts. And the weather, put that in there. This is the weather currently. The sun is out, but we have got a few bits of cloud. So, I think wiring them that way has actually worked out pretty well. So, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen anything working, but...
Yeah, but you can see what solar we're getting and what power we're using and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Even though we're not using any yet. Anyway, that's it for this week.
Thank you for watching.
We will have to, you will have to catch up next week and we'll be doing the setting up and running the 240 volt power in, as well as hopefully some lights maybe. See what we can get on. Anyway, thanks very much for watching.
See you next week.
See you next time.